Okay, so interview of Amu Chandegra, date 26th of 2019, location in Birmingham. So, what is your full name?
Amrutlal Sauji Chandegra.
Okay, and when and where were you born?
I was born in Nairobi, 1959.
Okay. So whereabouts did you go to school in the UK?
UK in Birmingham,
Okay.
Tyndall Street.
How many siblings do you have?
All of us were 5 of us.
5. So you got
4 sisters and one brother. Yeah.
So what year did you migrate to? So you said you were born in Kenya, and then you migrated to India.
Yeah. Then we came here in '66.
How old were you when you arrived? When you were 6 years old?
6 or 7.
Do you remember when you arrived?
When
you came here?
Yeah, I remember that.
So, how did you arrive? Did you arrive by plane or?
Yeah, we came on the plane. It was a small plane.
Yeah.
At the Heathrow Airport. Yeah. And it was in the middle of winter, November 22nd. It was freezing cold. We come from a hot country, and we landed with one small suitcase, and that was it, and no clothes, no warm clothes or anything. And it was like from the old days, where the plane sort of on the runway, and you come down the steps, and then you walk along into the airport lounge, and then then you meet I didn't know my dad there because
England.
I'd never seen him. I was
okay.
too young, but my big sister JFI, and they knew, and my ba was with us. So there's ba and 4 of us.
Okay.
3 daughters and 1 son. Because Dakshafai wasn't born there. She was born afterwards here.
So you, did you ever get told why you had to migrate to the UK? Was it because your Bapa?
It was like Bapa came straight from Kenya here. In those days, Kenya was going through independence struggle.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of violent struggle. So our people were a bit scared to stay there. So some decided to go to India, and others who had British passports, some came here. So in our case, we were all sent to India, including your Bapa and Ba and your daddy and brother. We were all sent to India. Then we stayed there for 3-4 years. Then my side family, Bapa and my Ba, we came here, and your daddy and Ba, they went to Kenya again.
Okay.
So they went back there. Okay. So at age of 6, we came here, middle of the winter, in 1966. And first time we felt cold and dark, and things that you remember, which very clearly is, I remember going into a taxi for the first time, the black cab. I remember going in underground first time, and then on a train, not first time, but on a train.
Yeah.
And I even, when we go on the train, my dad bought us all a Kit Kat because we were hungry. So they bought some chocolates from the vending machine, and I can still remember the smell of it. First time, you eat something, a chocolate.
Yeah.
I can remember that. But it's middle of it, that by then it was like midnight or something, and we were coming to Birmingham. And then we got a taxi from there to home, probably about 3 in the morning. Yeah. We came home and we slept for 2 days or something. So cold and we were so tired. See. But it was a new country and we didn't know,
Yeah,
but,
different.
Yeah, and when we started to go out a bit, because winter, everywhere was smog. Smog or fog.
Yeah.
Smog is like a fog,
Pollution.
but pollution from the coal. Everybody had a fireplace, and every fireplace had coal coming. They had a coal cellar downstairs. So the coal man would come. There's an opening at the front of the window. He'd throw all the coal in there, and then when you want the coal, you go down your cellar, pick up the coal, and just fill in the fireplace to stay warm.
Yeah.
Now, in those days, that was only heating.
Yeah.
There was no central heating. There's no other heating. And the floorboard, there was no carpets. There's nothing like carpets. There was no lino. It was like newspapers laid out so that you don't have the draft coming. It was like pretty bad. It's like going into a derelict house.
Yeah.
Everybody's houses were like that. So there's nothing like that. And so you put the coal in the fire and heat up the room, and then you get into bed and just sit there and read or try and do something, because there's no televisions in those days. And that's how time didn't go fast at night. In the evening you get bored, and no, again at least you go to sleep. The kids would see lights out sort of thing, and every day the same routine.
Yeah.
But but it was then we went to school, and when the snow came, the snow was like knee deep, because we were short anyway. So it was knee deep. We had to trundle over it to get to school. And I think I cried the first few days going to school.
Oh,
yeah. Because I didn't like it. I didn't understand English or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that, then you get used to it, and every day I start learning a bit of English. And in terms of racism, we were all called Pakis.
Yeah.
Right? As you know, Dolia just knows Pakis, that's it. They see an Indian is a Paki, and Pakistan is a Paki, and if you see Bangladesh is a Paki. And then the other people were Kadias, were blacks.
Yeah.
And they called them Wogs, and different names for them.
Was that the kids or was that adults? Both?
Adults, but
adults.
Kids used to tell us Pakis, Pakis, this and that. And because it was so common, you get used to it. You didn't give notice to it.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of racism in those days, which nowadays you won't see in workplaces or something. People respect you, and and if it was a Sikh guy with a turban, they'd try and play with and knock him off, and and also because there was not many of us in those days anywhere. So when they saw us, they used to say, "Oh, Pakis, go home," or this and that. And sometimes you get bullied as well. Like physical violence as you're walking down the street or something. So that was in those days a norm sort of thing, you know. It was like you wouldn't expect that now, you know, and that sort of thing. But it was a new country, strange things. You sort of seeing everything new for the first time, you know. Things like pencils and pens, and we've never seen that before in India. You know, that sort of thing. Books, you know, writing books. So we used to get a nice book and cover it up with the, you know. And so we learned that way. I think there was like when I was in the junior school, I think it is 11 plus exams, you know. And my parents and you know, bapas, and they all expected children to work hard and succeed. So when 11 plus came, I always tell Alec and joking that I didn't have a clue what to write on the paper. So, you know, there was lots of shapes and things. So all I did, took my pencil case and colored it all in. Filled it all in. Nicely colored paper, and I gave it to the teacher. I said, here, and she goes, oh, you done very well. But I didn't get through, obviously. But, you know, that was... yeah, so it was a hard time because A, we didn't know English. B, it was a different environment, it's a cold country to adjust. C, your parents didn't have that much money. They were just about making ends meet, and our parents were working as laborers.
So what did your papa do?
He was a carpenter.
The same as
Papa, same. Yeah. And there was jobs there, but it was not highly paid or anything. You know, it's just a job.
Do you know what you did in Kenya?
Carpentry.
Oh, everywhere.
Yeah. And so if they wanted to buy a house, they didn't know how to buy a house. You know, all they knew was renting. They didn't know what mortgage means, you know. You can go to building society and get a mortgage which you pay off slowly. They didn't know how to do that or if that was available, so they were relying on other people to tell them. And if you look at 20-30 families, one educated person would do all the reading and writing for those families, you know. But so we known somebody who would read the letter and say, oh, what's written on it, and, you know, fill in forms or something. So it was that sort of time, Tiara.
Did you live in this part of Birmingham, or did you live?
There's another part which is further up, about 3-4 miles away.
Okay.
We were living in that side. It was on south side of Birmingham, but in a Sparkill area.
Did you live with? Was it just like the papa and like you and then your sisters, and was there other families living with you?
Yeah, what it was like a house like this. Yeah. There's one room here, then there's another room, so there's another family living in there.
Okay.
We were one family here, another family there, one up there, 4 families.
All Indian?
All Indians, yeah. No, actually, there was one couple which was a Dweli and a Kadio. So that was unusual. That was really unusual. But we called a ferry and all I remember, but ferry niche, you know. You know, and she was a nice lady. She fell in love with a Kadio, so it was unusual in those days to have that mix. So there was 4 families living, and there was one toilet upstairs, which, because we were living downstairs, we were not allowed to go upstairs to use toilet. And there was a toilet outside, which you had to go out into the shed, and then there was a toilet there. And that was absolutely freezing in winter.
Yeah.
But we still had to go there. The family who was living upstairs was two Gujaratis. Apna Kumbhar hai jata. But they would not allow us as children to go upstairs because they're mean people, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It was a bit, you know, they said, oh, tamar tya niche jao, and you know, they didn't say ke aprache, you know.
Yeah.
What's big deal about a toilet?
Yeah.
You know, but in those days, I don't know if you know, but the houses didn't have bathrooms. It just had a toilet, if that. Otherwise, the toilet was just outside, and the bathrooms. Really, people used to go to the public bath. You know, swimming pools અત્યારે છે ને, they were actually public baths in there. So people would go in there for a bath.
Okay.
You know, and so we'd go there once a week to have a bath, proper bath, and that's it. And then for the rest of the week, you'd just make do.
Yeah.
Or if the weather was good, outside in the shed, there was another small oily you can have a just bath there, but that's it.
How times have changed.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things. It's a difficult times, but because you're just going through it, you just accept it.
Yeah. You know, like when you're growing up, and like a lot of Gharis don't understand how it's hard for Gujarati kids or Indian kids to grow up. Would you say that as a kid you found it hard, like through your bapa? Like I know that Dad found it hard with bapa.
Yeah.
And he used to come spend time with you a lot. That's what he used to tell me. Did you feel like that was the same with your bapa, or was it your bapa was different?
Yeah, my dad was strict. Strict in the sense that he was not.
He wasn't the same as Bappa.
No, I mean your Bappa was gets hot quickly. My Bappa was not that hot, but in those days you respected elders.
Yeah.
So you can't get sui jao એટલે બધા સુઈ જાય, you know, like, or if they say ખાઈ લ્યો તો ખાવા બેસે ભલે ભૂખ લાગી કે ના લાગી, you know, like you can't question it, and you can't say મારે નથી જવું કે ક્યાંક લગ્નમાં જાવ તો લગ્નમાં જવાનું તૈયાર થઈ જાવ એટલે બધા તૈયાર થઈ જાય, you know. It was that sort of relationship, so we never questioned them about things. It was more the upbringing was like that, so we never questioned. But my Bappa was not my dad was not hot in that sense. He wouldn't get hot quickly, angry, you know, and he'd probably compromise a lot. So when something went wrong or something, he'd listen to people and then say, okay, doesn't matter, Charles say, you know, and he'd get over that.
Yeah.
So that's why your dad would get on with my Bappa more. But with your dad, your Bappa, I got on more.
Because I remember my dad always used to say that when your dad passed, that was one of the hardest passings for him.
Yeah.
Because he was like close to your dad. Because Bappa, when he wouldn't like listen to him or get angry at him, he used to come here.
Yeah. What it is, you know, when they went to Kenya, my dad, your Bappa, Mon Bappa, and those three went together to Kenya. Now my dad, his father, Punja Bapa, is stayed in India.
Oh.
So he was adopted by your Bapa's dad.
Okay, so Margie's husband.
Yeah. So he was adopted to enable my dad to go there.
So kind of like Genti Bapa coming here with Bapa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those three as brothers there, nobody realized કે આ brothers બધાય નથી કે we're like distant cousins. But everybody was told કે આ ત્રણ ભાઈઓ છે. Now my dad and your Bapa go on well. And Mohan Bapa was like how shall I put it?
Just say it how it is.
What's the word? He was like a flamboyant person. He liked to dress up, go to the movies, enjoying himself, that sort of thing.
Okay, so.
Yeah, drive the car and and not think too much about working. Whereas your Bapa and my dad worked their socks off, and every little penny they saved they sent to India to maintain the rest of the family. So your Bapa and my Bapa grew up together in the struggle. And your Bapa always respected my dad as the elder brother. So he always looked up to him and listened to him, and he never questioned him. They never argued about anything. He always said, "Mota bhai ki," that's it, and my dad was older than him.
I can't imagine Papa doing that.
But he did. He was like a butterfly when he sat with my dad. He would not say anything or whatever. But when he's on his own, he's a Rottweiler sort of thing. But so they grew up together, and Mohan Bapa had his
I know Bapa and Mohan Bapa on that
negative crowd with him who was taking him off course.
Okay.
So when my dad came here, we came in 1966. In 1971 or 71, your Bapa and they all came 4 years later. So 4 years later, we just bought a house in the area where we were just living. We just bought a house, and when they all came, we all stayed together under one roof for about a month or so. And so we all ate, and these photos that some of them you see were taken at that time, you see, or maybe later, but we were all young, and we were all four in a bed. We all slept together, and it was just like a one big family. And then the two brothers decided we can't carry on living like this because it's just difficult. So પછી ભાડે ને બીજું મકાન મળે ને તો they can shift into another house. So within a couple of weeks, ત્યારે તો everybody's renting, so houses were galore, plenty. So they moved in that house. And your Bapa found a job as well, I think, possibly with Land Rover, making the cars. Factory job. He moved in there, and every week, like Thursday was a pay day. They got paid. Laborers got paid in cash on Thursdays. So every week your Bapa would come to our house with a bag full of fruit, to give us fruit. 2 bags. He'd have one for his family, your family, and one for us. And so like a ritual every week. because we were all like a family.
No.
And he considered my dad as the elder brother. So, but this went on for a couple of months, and then my dad said, "Look, dhako દર week ના ખા. Fruit તો બહુ મળે છે, and we understand the sentiment કે તમે તું અહીંયા just come when you can, but don't make it a ritual, otherwise you'll but my dad told him to stop doing that. And just think about કે આસે પછી તું મકાન લઈ લે.
So he spent his money on.
Yeah. I don't know if we got time. Then we'll drive around. I'll show you around. And just a quick Krishna and Apretran Jasu.
Yeah.
So, and all that time, your dad, your Bapa, and my dad, we all lived like a family. Although it was two houses, we used to sort of weekend में जाता, and आओ जाओ.
Would you say, like, you felt more comfortable in the family than like going to school and like everything?
Yeah, I mean, going to school there were ups and downs. I do remember at some times, because there were lots of bullies and
were they mainly like white or
white kids? Yeah.
Only white. Dad said that a lot of Karyas used to.
Karyas, you see, Karyas felt that they had to bully somebody as well. Everybody thinks they got to bully somebody. Dorias used to bully Pakis or Asians. Karyas used to bully us as well. Doria used to tell verbal to Karyas as well, who were weaker. Karyas who were big and strong, they would make friends with them. You see, so school days were a bit like that. We were a bit. Sometimes we were frightened of going to school. Just. But once you get past a certain age in school, like 14 or something, where you start doing your, in those days, GCSEs and whatever, the more mature people were there, who were good people, Dorias and Karyas. In our school, in our class, there was about 20 Asians left. 2 Karyas and maybe 1 or 2 Dorias. The rest of the Karyas and Dorias weren't interested in studying. They just wanted to get into work and spend money.
That's probably why.
Yeah, so Asians stayed. They wanted to get the results and better jobs and whatever. So it got better and better, and that's how we, progressed.
Yeah. What was it? Do you think another reason why, in migration, like there's such a significant population in Birmingham of Asians is because there
was 3 sort of migrations, I think.
Yeah.
There was one up north where there was cotton mills and all that. The people. The British Empire was still on the high, and they were, in Oldham and Manchester and that. You had all the cotton industries, The Midlands were more car industry. They used more automobiles, so it was like a real factory-based industrial place. So in both places there's jobs, a lot of jobs. And in London, the jobs were mainly like the underground, the buses and transport and hospitals and that sort of thing, jobs. And there was building jobs as well everywhere, but mainly automobile. And everybody sort of got one place or another through personal contacts. Like we came to Birmingham because we knew somebody in Birmingham who my dad had a good friend who moved from Kenya. So he said, તું અહીંયા આવી જાજે, like, and પછી અહીંયાથી કામ મળી જશે. So as soon as he came, the next day he was in a job. In those days there's no interview. You just go to the building site. Okay, is there any job? Yes, come join us. That's it. Put his name down and signed up, and started the same work, same day, sort of thing. So a lot of people came to these three areas depending on who they knew.
Okay.
Some people who came here and said, no, I want to move to London, I want to do something else. I don't want to work in a factory, I want to do transport market, something. So they went there, or but they migrated because these areas had specific types of jobs, going all the time. Hardly any Asians went to the countryside, in the farming or anything. It's just all factory, labor based. So, and there was lots of jobs,
Was there a reason why you didn't move to London, or why you wanted to stay in Birmingham?
Well, my dad, when we got all educated, I went to university. I was lucky to get there because I got some grades. Your dad and Jenti Kaka didn't make certain grades. So what they decided was, there's no jobs in Birmingham, might as well go to London. So they migrated to London for jobs, which was a good thing at that time. And he got into a good job and good paid, hard working, but they got their jobs. I went to university and came out and got a job in Coventry, and then I moved to Birmingham, a job with Rolls-Royce here.
Okay.
So I got a job there, and ever since I've been there. So, but there was a time when my dad had a choice to go to London or not. And it was a time when, Hansafai, Vikesh's mom.
Vikesh's mom,
yeah. Hansafai was married, and within a month or so, the whole thing broke down.
Oh, okay.
Right? So she became divorced again. No, not divorced, but separated. And in those days, that was a big issue in the community. People, were talking about it, and my dad was really depressed about all that. And worst thing about that was, when the Samewara give you dagino, gold and that.
You have to give it back. Do you have to give it back?
No, it wasn't that. The point was, they said that she stole it from them. They put a charge on her.
Okay.
Now, they wanted all that dagino back. But through a devious means. We might have settled for giving back some of it or whatever, but because this charge was fitted, we had to say, that we'll contest that in court. We'll take it to the court, or they can take us to court, so which they did. We went to Bolton Court. This is just like not many people know about it, but we went there, and Hansafai's hands are small, isn't it? So her bangles are small bangles. So lucky the judge was a lady judge, and she knew about her customs, and she asked if she's stolen the bangles, who did the bangles belong to? So the man on the other side who. He said that was my mother's bangles.
Was he Kumba?
Kumba, yeah. So, judge called his mother over, and he said, right, take these bangles of Hansafai, take this and tell her to put them on her hand. So she took it out and gave it to the other, and she couldn't even get it through 4 fingers, let alone pass. She struggled and struggled, and the judge says, if you can't fit them, they can't be yours. And then you're saying these were my bangles and this and that. the judge really came down hard on them and threw the case out. And not only that, they gave us all the expenses and all the jewelry. She said, don't return any of it. Just, and they really made them pay for the whole experience.
Yeah.
But at that time, I had graduated. Our house, which we had bought earlier, was taken over by the council, city council, under what's called a compulsory purchase order. They wanted to build something there. And Hansafain a case too. So 3 things happened all at once. And my dad says, no, and then we said, okay, we can't do a big thing like moving to London with this case running.
Okay.
And I've got no job to go to, and we don't have a house to go to. You know what I mean? The house that the council bought off us, it was worth nothing, really. £2,000 they gave us as compensation. So, and in those days, a proper house, if you buy it, is like 20,000. So it's only 1/10 of the value of a house that they gave us. So we were. That was like what do you call destiny or something? A point in destiny where we had to make a decision, and we didn't shift to London, and for good reason. So we had to stick it out here, and then once. Within a couple of years of that, and then everything happened. Ansafai got married in India again with Purushottam, and then within a year of him coming, my dad passed away through heart attack or whatever, So one after another, I just got tied in. Staying here, there's no way I could look out for my career or my future or something, so I had to look after the family. Hansafai, just about, they had to find a house for themselves. We had to help them a lot because Fuwa's eyesight wasn't brilliant, and she decided that she wanted to marry him, which was fine, because that at least it makes somebody's life, better. So so we spent a good few years helping them out. Dakshafai's wedding had to take place, and Bapa had passed away, so it was all on me to sort of sort that out. And that's when, if you like, a point in destiny that it was not my choice to move to London or not. The choice wasn't there anymore. Whereas when your dad and Janti Kaka moved, it was a clear choice because they were single. The family, they were all okay, settled. But Kanta Fai, so they had a choice, stepping stone there as well. They could go there and stay there and then start off. So they had that choice, which I think, in my case, I got stuck with the, circumstances. So I didn't go, Pachi. But at that point, your Bapa, they were still living here. And then we said to them that, just before my dad died, I think my dad told him that tu chena ave chokra London che, like your dad, and so you go to London as well, move to London with Naresh and Janti ne che to.
All of them were like unfair and everyone.
Yeah.
They're all there.
They were all here, you see. So Kali Janti Kaka ne Janti Bapa ne your dad were in London.
Okay.
So they bought a house with Jenti Bapa Nati Reta.
Oh, yeah.
That house.
Yeah.
And then the idea was that they'd all move there and then settle down there. So they moved just when my dad died, just after then Bapa moved. And so, but when my dad died, I grew up close to your Bapa, you know. And when my dad died, he was there for me, you know, all the time.
Yeah.
Like nobody else would be. You know, he'd be coming at home, talking to us, and any issues or something, he'd take care of that, you know. I'd ask him and he'd tell me whatever. And since then, and that was in 1988. But there are 2018, 19, 41 years, yeah, na? 41 years, is that 40? 31 years, yeah? 31 years. There's not been 1 week where he hasn't rung me or I haven't ring in a week, yeah. We ring each other at least once a week. There's not 1 week where I don't know what he's not doing, if he's not well or anything, and he also rings here. So that's how closeness we are. You see what I mean? So, and I know he's hot-headed.
Yeah, that's why him and Dad doesn't go.
Yeah, but to my mind, I don't see that. I'm honest with him and I tell him, "Ke kaka, tome muki diyo ne wat," you know, and then he'll say, "Okay," you know. We discuss a lot of close things which we wouldn't discuss with anybody else. And I'd say to him that, you know, if he gets really angry about someone, I said, "Look, Kaka, is it worth worrying about that? Just leave it, you know. Well, you know, tamai age thai enjoy life, forget about everything else, you know, like move on." And he'd listen to that, or he'd tell me, "Ke tu ave amuki de olu kar," you know, like, you know. So it's almost, in a way, you need, like, for me, is like an older brother or a father or something like that I can fall back on, you see. But if I didn't have him, probably I'd have nobody to talk to. You know, when you go through life and you got lots of issues you need to talk to somebody about, you see. So it's important to have that, you know. And you know, I've always told your dad that, look, you know, you got issues with your dad, but just let it go over the, you know, he's hot-headed, Bapa. But that's his nature. You can't change a lion from being roaring.
No,
you know,
it doesn't help that Dad's got a hot nature.
Yeah, exactly. I know, but I know. But I tell your dad, look, just keep mum. Sometimes, if you get angry about something, just zip up and don't say anything for about 5 minutes, and you'll find an answer to it. But the moment you throw everything out verbally, you can't bring that back.
It's until... So I say Dad's changed quite a bit since Nishma's been able to speak up. But Nishma's quite a strong girl.
Yeah.
So whatever she says, Dad has to listen to her.
Correct, yeah.
And like, I don't think Dad's had anyone tell him how she's told him. You just need to like put it past you.
I used to talk to your dad a lot, to tell him that
he needs to calm down.
He needs to cool down, calm down, and he needs to. I used to tell your dad that he needs to be a bit more close to people. You know what I mean? You can't just shun people away, or you can't burn too many bridges, and then you're on an island on yourself. You can't do that. you can do it, but sooner or later that island just shrinks more and more. In a few years' time, you and Nishma is going to get married and move out. Then there's your mom and your dad left. And that island gets shrunk, and then he needs to find his own group of people who he can liaise with. Like in Birmingham, whatever it is, I know I've got about dozen or so people, just like Bappa, who's close to me. I've got other people who are really, we can say, I can give them a ring and say, let's go for a drink, and they'll come, or whatever, we can do that. And that's why I feel this is my home now. Even if Rajiv buys a house in London, doesn't mean I need to move with him. That's his life. You know what I mean? So I'm telling your dad that don't, with your temper, control it, and don't burn bridges, and make up, whatever, so that you got, everybody's got somebody they can talk to and whatever. Because we're not all gonna be physically fit and able all the time. Time will come when you're not able to do things and you want to talk to somebody. So
I don't think he thinks about it like that though. No.
But he will. I mean, it's good today he came. Today. I've been telling him for years. Okay, look, I know you're busy and you're working, and sometimes just give up a day and just come down. If not here, okay, do other things, but
when I told him that I was coming, he was just he was like, you can either take train or I'll take you. I was like, you may as well take me.
That's good. I mean, અહીંયા આપણે જમ્યા કર્યા બધા મજા આવે ને. And to us, more people come home and have dinner with us, and we enjoy that more. There's no way I'm going to take you to town and show you things. That's not our thing. If you want to see that, you might as well go straight there and have a look at it. If you want nice secure chat and just enjoy it, just chill out, come down, and that's what I keep telling him.
That's one of the dog.
Who's that? Religious.